The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, welcome to Recession Proof Marketing. My name is Elizabeth Pampalone, and Tabitha is here with me as well. And we will be talking today about recession proofing your marketing, including your brand, your website, your social media, blogging, podcasting. We're going to cover all of it. So, we're glad that you're here. And if you are live and you have any questions, or if you'd like to leave us a comment, you can use the chat or the question box, and we'd love to answer your questions live if you have them. So we're going to go ahead and get started. This is one of my favorite quotes from Charles Dickens, that procrastination is the thief of time. And when it comes to recession proofing your marketing, it is definitely going to be a thief of your time. And so the more that you procrastinate, the further along we're going to get into these economic times, and it's going to actually kind of be almost like too late to do anything. So we want to make sure that we have a little bit of a head start on everything, which is why we're doing this webinar right now. And let's see here, this slide, I'll move forward. There we go. So again, my name is Elizabeth Pampalone. I am a marketer. I have been a marketer for 15 years, had 20 years experience in the business. And we're going to go through some of the things that I do with my clients on a daily basis. I sit down with someone and we go through and create 1 year of their marketing content in 5 days. That is it. And we get all of this stuff done. We create 1 year of social media posts, 1 year of podcasts, 1 year of everything, and build a website, and we do their brand. So I'm going to give you like little tips and tricks that you can do right now that are going to be some of these things that I do with my clients to help them get ahead, and we're going to help you get ahead of this recession-proof marketing. I do also have a podcast. It's called Marketing Minimalism. It's on Apple, and we pretty much put out one almost every Tuesday. So you can go ahead and take a look at that. We've got a bunch of new episodes coming out for this new season. So check that out. It's on all the different podcasting platforms. You'll find it anywhere. All right, so how do we begin proofing? And there's tons of different ways you can do this. There's probably a ton of different people out there that say, oh, it can't be done, and oh yeah, you can do these things. But I'm going to give you some really simple things that you can apply not only to marketing, but kind of every aspect of your business to begin recession proofing it. The first one is, I wanted to say that because I use these things with my clients didn't change anything in 2020. So it doesn't matter if it's a recession you're going into or if it's a pandemic you're going into, these tips and tricks apply to all of that. So I wanted to give you that as a heads up so that you can kind of take these into consideration. Again, that they don't just apply to your marketing, but they can apply to a lot of areas of your business. Innovation is essential. So this is something we have to keep doing. We have to keep reevaluating everything we have, all the tools that we're using, all the tactics that we're using. These things change all the time. And so we can't let ourselves stagnate and stand still. We have to constantly be reevaluating and innovating in whatever area that we're looking at of our business, especially marketing. And we need to remember that people still do buy from people. It's not something that's gone by the wayside. And we have to remember that we need to put ourselves into our marketing just as much as we put ourselves into our products and services that we offer. Good marketing is not about tactics. And the reason for that is because the tactics are constantly changing. So we can't rely on just one great tactic for the rest of time. One of the things I like about the recession-proof marketing that we're going to talk about today is that yes, we're going to talk about tactics, and we're going to give you some tangible tasks to go and do right now. But we're also going to give you these overreaching, kind of over processes that can be done over and over and over throughout time, no matter what kind of situation you find yourself in. Even though the actual specific task might change, the process can remain the same, and it can actually get you a little bit further ahead than some other people who don't have those great processes. And then, of course, simplicity beats out everything, beats out complexity every single time. So as long as we keep this really, really simple and we break things down into categories like branding, websites, social, blogging, podcasting, email marketing, we're kind of giving it these like big categories and then just giving simple tasks within that. It's going to make it so much easier. And if we do them in the right order, which we're going to go through today, then you won't have this issue of getting to one part and going, well, I don't know what to do for that, and having all these missing pieces. So keep that in mind as we go through. Here's a list of the things that I cover with my sessions that I do with clients, but we're going to cover just the first few of these today so we can give you guys some tangible things you can do. So if you want to screenshot this, we're also going to send out the entire presentation today. So you're going to have this video and you won't have to worry about trying to go back and find things. But if you want to give it a screenshot, there it is. It's the entire list. So if you're not doing any of these things, you want to at least be doing the first 5. All right, let's talk about branding. Finding your niche and sticking to it, that's a big piece, does not limit you. It actually focuses them. And by them, I mean your clients, your referral partners, your colleagues, your mom, because your mom's going to talk about your business, I'm just going to say. So it's going to focus everybody to this one point that says, oh, they do this, right? So my niche is I create 1-year marketing content in 5 days. That's like a very specific type of marketing that we do. And so when people hear that, it's something that can stick with them and they can remember. So when they go to tell someone else about it, they don't have to kind of fumble around for the words. They know exactly what I do and they can say it really simply. So finding your niche is really important, whether it's a certain industry you work with, a certain type of client you work with, or even if it's a certain type of product you sell. Make sure that that's front and center in all of your communication, in every message that you share. Now, I'm going to kind of truncate some of these things. So it's going to seem like it's going to be like, oh my gosh, she skipped a bunch of stuff. What's the rest of it? But there's so much more to branding. I could not possibly cover it in today's session. But if you have more questions about it, please let me know. And I'd be happy to talk with you about it one-on-one, and we'll give some links and things at the end. But I wanted to give you this list of file formats. This is kind of your to-do list for your branding. If you don't have these file formats and all of these pieces for your brand, you are missing so much. And when Tabitha comes up to talk about social media, you're going to be sitting there going, oh my gosh, I need all these things. She's going to say, yes, you need your brand in these different types of formats because you're going to be using it for social media, especially, not to mention the website and email marketing and all that stuff. So if you don't have your brand in all of these, your website, I'm sorry, your logo, right, in all of these formats, then you need to definitely go back to your designer. It can be redone. So if you need help, you can call somebody and they will, like a brand designer, they will help you get these pieces, but sometimes they have to kind of redo everything. So go back to your designer and get these things from them if you don't have them. I like to do an EPS and AI so that you can actually do a big sign if you need to. PNG transparent is black, white, gray, and full color. So you have a black version, a white version, etc. And I like to use those on websites and social media posts. The white and black versions are so helpful for social media. And then the PDF, sometimes you just need a PDF version. Sometimes a printer might ask for that. And then a JPEG version, because sometimes if you're uploading that brand image to, let's say, some kind of platform, they might request it in JPEG form. So I like to also do rectangular versions of these brand images, so like your logo, and a square version, because sometimes on social media, your little social picture, if it's not your face, which mine is always my face, then you need to have a square versions that will fit in those little circles or the squares that would go for your profile picture. So the rectangle version, though, is a must-have for websites and email marketing and some of your social posts. So you definitely need both versions, okay? So take a screenshot of this if you need to, but like I said, you'll have this recording as well. And get your designer to help you get these pieces together if you don't have them. And if you never had these pieces, maybe it's time to start reevaluating that brand. Remember, we can't just let it stay stagnant forever. We might need to update it, update the color a little bit, update the font a little bit, and then also get these new pieces as well. All right. If you have any questions about branding, please put them in the questions box or in the chat, and I'd be happy to answer those as well as we go through. Now that we've talked about the brand, we definitely need the brand before we can do the website. Your website is totally informed by your brand. You don't know what colors to use if you don't have the brand. You don't know what fonts you're using. You don't know really what your messaging is, because part of your brand is not just your logo, it's also your message. So now that we've got this finished, beautiful brand that we probably created in a day, right? That now we can go ahead and bring in the stuff for the website and we can start looking at that. I have a few things that you need to look at your website currently. Maybe you already have a website. I want you to go and look at it and ask these questions of it. What do you do? Is it simplified? Is your brand really clear and your message really clear in your website? If it's not the first thing that kind of punches you in the face from that homepage, then you're probably doing it wrong, right? You probably need to evaluate this page. So look at your website and see if this question is answered. What do you do? Is it simple? And is your brand message clear? So if it is, good job. You did a great job. And now your website is probably converting for you. If your website is not converting for you, this may be part of the problem. Or if your message is too complicated, even though your message might be exactly what you want to say, maybe it's just too complicated and you can simplify it a little bit. The next thing you want to look at is your target market. Are you speaking to that person that is actually going to receive the message you're trying to convey? When I speak on my website, I ask questions like, does social media overwhelm you? Are you having trouble with your marketing? Are you having anxiety over these things? Your email marketing, let's say. And most people, those are the questions that they're asking themselves. Those are the things that they're dealing with right now when they come to my website. So I know who my audience is. They are people who are overwhelmed by their marketing, who are upset by it, who it's causing them lots of sleepless nights in some cases. And so I'm speaking directly to them on that homepage. It's the first thing I talk about. I don't care if you're just there for a brand or just there for a website or just whatever. The first thing I want to say is, this is my brand message. Is this you? Are you having these issues? I can help you with that. So I know who the target audience is. And sometimes that can also help you kind of simplify that message a little bit so that you're not saying, but I want to tell them all the things in the first place. I have to tell them everything up front. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes you just have to connect with that person on a level where they go, oh, yes, this is me. And then you can go in and talk to them about all the great things you do and how you help them. The third thing you want to look at your website for is, what does the website need to do? Now, your website should only do one thing. You should have one message that's really clear. You should have one target audience that is being spoken to directly, like as if you were having a conversation. And you should have one thing that it should do, just one. If you simplified your website down to these three things, you would just start getting so many people coming to you, because when people come to the website, you don't know how many people you're losing because those three things aren't simplified. This one thing that your website needs to do, I want you to let me know in the chat what you think your one thing your website needs to do, because I like to kind of get some feedback on this. And the thing about this is, a lot of people miss this. They say, well, you need to buy a product, or, oh, well, you need to. Yes, that may be true. But really, what's the first step? Because for me, I might want you to book a session with me. That's not actually the first step, right? My website should lead you to book a call with me so that I can sell you that session. I don't just let you buy the session online. You can't just say, oh yeah, pay for that and schedule it, done, right? You have to talk with me first to make sure it's all going to work out correctly. So the one thing that the person needs to do is to start the process. And whatever that part of your process is, I have a guy who sells his own spaghetti sauce. The start of his process is to put it in your cart, right? You have to put that thing in your cart first, and then you can go ahead and check out. So his process is, he really does want you to buy something because you can buy directly from there. But really, it's about getting it into your cart first, because then he has abandoned cart emails that go out and things like that. So he can help you get to the checkout point, but he needs you to get it into your cart first. So really, everything we built around that website was built to guide you to put something in your cart. And if your website isn't pointing your one customer who you're speaking to directly, as if we're having a conversation, they're not if all that stuff isn't pointing me to the one thing you want me to do, I'm going to get confused. Should I go over here and download this? Should I watch this video first? Should I look up this pricing first? Should I go here? Should I go there? What's the one thing that I should be doing? So I would definitely have you look at your site. Are you really clear with that one message? Are you talking to that one person? And are you asking them to do just one task? And it has to be something so simple that they can't even refuse to do it, right? So think about that and look at your website and do a little audit for yourself and see if that's something you can make some changes and help people to actually convert for you. Okay, this part is really important. 40% of websites in the US do not have a privacy policy. This is really bad. You have to have a privacy policy. You can be fined if you don't. So this is kind of my little legal disclaimer. I say, I'm not a lawyer, but I do know about these types of things. And I have been talking with some lawyers in this field, And there's a lot of fines that can happen just because you just don't have one and people look up your site and they're like, oh my gosh, let's sue them. And people do that. It's a litigious society. So I want you to be protected from that. I do have some templates and tools that you can use on our website and our pro toolkit, which we'll give the link a little bit later, but it's on our free page of the website. But you can actually also get ADA compliance through that. You can get your terms and conditions, disclaimer, and then to know which one do you even need. Privacy policy is a must because it's mandated by law, but the other ones you may or may not need depending on your business. So if you have questions about that, you can let me know, or you can go to the website, getabsolutemarketing.com, and you can click on free. And there's a toolkit there which has all this types of information in it. But I do like to mention this for people about recession proofing your website, because you don't want to be into the middle of a recession, have someone sue you, and now all the work you've been doing is just kind of upended and you have to deal with that now. So let's just kind of head that off and get that out of the way. So if you don't have a privacy policy, check out the free toolkit, and that will help you definitely. All right, we're going to get into the social media portion now. I'm going to talk a little bit about social media really quickly, and then I'm going to turn it over to Tabitha. She's going to do amazing. I'm so excited. So let's talk a little bit about social media. There is actually only one reason for you to have social media, and nobody ever gets it right. I always ask this question, like, what's the one reason for your social media? No one ever gets it right. The actually real number one reason for your social media, to even use it as a business, okay, not for personal use, for a business use, would be to drive traffic to your website. Because what happens on your website? Oh, right, all those like most important sales, right? Because you don't really sell things on social media. No one's going to pay you $3,000 for your product or service that's so amazing through social media. They're not going to put their card in Facebook and pay you that money. Very, very, very unlikely. I know Facebook has their whole thing where you can pay things on Facebook now. Just no, we're not talking about that. This is about real money and real people actually buying real things from you, and they're probably not going to purchase it through Facebook and put their credit card into Facebook. They're probably going to call you, probably going to go on your website, put it in their cart, and purchase it. Okay? So we need to drive these people from social media to your website. And if you think about it, social media is like these little snippets of information, but your website has more information. It's where you can expand and talk about these things in more depth. So what social media should you be on as a consumer? I like to throw up these little stats. Not a lot of people know these. Facebook is actually run, it's used by more women than men. It's better to reach older millennials, Gen X, and some boomers. And 75% of users spend 20 minutes or more a day on Facebook. That's a lot. We're going to get back to half-life of a post in just a minute, so I'm going to come back around to that. In YouTube, there are more men than women. It reaches more 18 to 49-year-olds than cable television. If you raise your hand if you actually watch a YouTube video today. That was me this morning. And then second largest search engine is Google, because Google owns YouTube, and Google's number one and YouTube's number two. And if you think about it, every time you search for something, what comes up? Like 3 or 4 websites and like 8 videos. It's just how it's done now. And if you also think about it, most people have removed cable from their lives, especially like the younger generation, and now they're doing streaming, right? Well, who was like number one in streaming? YouTube. Like they do so much now. They have movies, they have TV shows. Anyway, half-life of a post. Let's talk about that really quick. Half-life of a post is how long it lives in the feeds. You know, when you pull up your feed and you see all those things that pop up, and then you scroll a little bit, and then someone asks you a question, and you look away, and then you look back, and it's all changed. And you were reading something, and then you were in the middle of it, right? Now it's all different. Well, that was the feed refreshing, and you can't do anything about it. It's part of the algorithm. So the half-life of a post is where your post is put out, and it kind of lives, right? It's floating out there for 30 minutes so that it's on feeds. I kind of liken it to this like balloon keep up game, right? So you know how when you like have the balloon and you keep popping it up, and then someone else pops it up, and then eventually it falls down, right? So when you post it, it's up in the air. And if someone shares it, it gets a little pop. And then if someone likes it, it gets another little pop in the feeds. And then if someone comments, it gets another little pop in the feeds. But eventually, and sometimes nobody does any of that, eventually all that dies down and it just falls off the feeds. Now it goes back to just your wall, just sitting there, hanging out, right? So this 30 minutes is how long it's up. It's in the feeds. And then for YouTube, the feed time is longer, because the average number of posts is about every 4 to 7 days. So your post, your video, will stay out in the feeds of YouTube users for 6 days. So with Facebook, people have put so many posts and they've forced so many posts like 3, 4 times a day, 10 times a day. There's been all these different things over the years about how much you should post on Facebook. So they've kind of forced the algorithms now to the point where, and also there's so many users, it's only like 30 minutes. So YouTube's a little longer only because of the types of consistent posting they get. And Facebook gets a lot of consistent posting, so theirs is a little bit shorter. So just keep that in mind. Your half-life is how long things live in the feeds. We're going to see that a couple more times. Instagram, majority women. Twitter, majority men. They're pink and blue. Don't ask me any other questions. 70% of users are under the age of 35 on Instagram. Users follow brands more than people. And yes, Kim Kardashian is not a person anymore. She's a brand. And then the half-life of the post is 19 hours on Instagram. I think it's hovering between 19 to 20, but it's pretty good. So your post's going to live a little longer, but people aren't following people. They're following other brands. And if you look at the age ranges, if that's not your demographic, I wouldn't even worry about it, honestly. Don't even get yourself into it. Don't even worry about it. Twitter, on the other hand, we got 40% of users under the age of 35. Not a majority, but a lot. And then 50% of users never even post. So they're just trolling. They're just checking. And then we've got users spending an average of 2.7 minutes a day. That's not a lot of time. So you got to be quick. You got to be saying something really important, really poignant that's going to get a retweet. Because that's what those 50% of users are doing. They're not posting, they're retweeting. And then we got half-life of a post is only 21 minutes. That's because of how people are staying on this platform really short amounts of time. They might be going in multiple times a day and just quick scrolling, but it's such a short amount of time. And then you've also got so much content coming in. You're getting a shorter amount of time that's living in feeds. Pinterest and LinkedIn. Pinterest and LinkedIn. These are the mom and dad. So those were the kids. This is mom and dad, and the first two were like grandpa and grandma. So mom and dad, this is majority women on Pinterest. Users age range from 18 to 69. 10% more likely to make a purchase from a Pinterest link. So if you have a product or a service that can be used like nationwide, worldwide, but it's more of a product, right? Services are a little trickier to do on this. But if it's a product I can literally just put in a cart and buy, people are more likely to buy it if they saw it on Pinterest. So it's something to think about. And then half-life of a post is 3.5 months. It's actually 151,000 hours. And that is because this balloon concept, right, this pop-up concept, is so easy to get Pinterest to keep reposting it. People see a pin, they repin it to their board to remember it, and then another person sees it and they repin it, and then another person, and it just goes on and on and on and on and on. So your post, you put one post out there, and it could last out there for 3.5 months. So then you got LinkedIn. This is one of my favorite platforms. It's the only one I'm on right now. Evenly men and women, 50% of users are making $75,000 or more a year. So you've got a higher income level here. Users are less likely to use other platforms, mostly these B2B type companies working with, business people who are, working inside companies like a recruiter type of person, but a lot of people who work for corporate type situations. And then you've got half-life of a post is 24 hours. This is starting to get smaller and smaller because more and more people are actually getting on LinkedIn. So this number is going down, but it doesn't mean that it's not still a great platform to post on. I have a question here from Jennifer. Should we repost high performing pins every few months? Absolutely. I wouldn't do it too often because then people are going to see like duplicate pins out there, and you don't want to remove a pin because people have pinned it already. But you could change the photo, change the text, and then just switch it up a little bit, but repost the same information and the same link, and repost it. But wait a month or two, month and a half, I would say, probably about 45 days, and then give it a go around. But a different image, different text, and then same link. So yes, I do agree with reposting. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and switch this over. I'm gonna stop sharing my screen now because now we need to know how to actually post all these things together. Now we know where we're posting, right?
All right, give me just a second to figure out which of my screens I actually want to put up here. I think it's this one. Fingers crossed that I show you guys the right thing. I do. Okay, good. Hi, everybody. Elizabeth, thank you. That was very, very great and informational, and it leads right into what I'm going to be talking to you guys about. And that is how to set up your social media in 15 minutes. That's what I'm all about. That's what I've been working towards. You guys are going to see me look away. I've got several monitors to my left, so if I look away, please forgive me. So my name is Tabitha Thomas. I have worked in advertising for more years than I care to count. I worked in an advertising industry such as radio, video production, web design, and podcasting, and I've helped brands like Case IH, Awana, Make-A-Wish, Nike, and many others. Now I focus a lot of my time on helping small businesses post to social media in a relatively fast manner. As the director of operations for Social Rotation. So that's a little bit about me and why Elizabeth brought us in. We actually did a podcast together a couple of years ago, found out we really liked each other. We had a lot in common. And so we've just continued this relationship from there. So I'm going to go into social media a little bit. And what we're going to be covering in this little section here is the social media rules for local businesses, the types of content that you want to be sharing, how to repurpose the content, because if you're going to be putting work into creating content, you don't want to do that over and over again. You want to be smart with it and repurpose it. And then how to set up a year's worth of content in 15 minutes. So the first thing that we're going to start with is local business social media rules. And so these are kind of simple. They're going to seem simple, but I think you guys will like those. So the first rule is you must post at least once a day and more on certain networks. So like she was just saying, some of the life span of those posts, depending on what they are. But Facebook usually says you want to post 1 to 2 times a day. Twitter usually says 1 to 5 tweets a day. And LinkedIn is 1 to 5 times per day is what they recommend on those social platforms. So that's just giving you a little bit of a breakdown on those. Rule number 2 is your content should be educational and or act as a window into the business. So you want to show people what your business is all about. You're going to want to show them how your business can be, how you can help them through your business, and then also show them what goes on inside of your office. You'd be surprised at how many times people just want to see what it's like in your office, what it's like to work with you. They want a little bit of an inside look into those things. And as Elizabeth said earlier, you definitely want that all of your social posts to definitely point them back to the website, because that website is where you're going to be making sales. So that's a big thing there as well. And then the last but not least, rule number 3, and I really want to state this, it is more important for your page to be alive than it is to be perfect. So many people just become paralyzed because they think it has to be absolutely perfect, and that is not the case at all. You just want to make sure that you're getting relevant content out there on a regular basis, because nobody cares if it's perfect. They don't know if it's perfect, only you're going to know if it's perfect or not. So you just want to make sure that you are getting content out there, and that you're just letting people know who you are and what you can do for them. Okay, next I'm going to go through the different types of content that you can be sharing. Okay, so the types of content, the first thing that I want to reach out to you guys with is educational content. That's the first thing that we want to put out there. I've got 5 different ones you guys can put out there. First one is FAQs. How many people ask you questions in your business that you get on a regular basis? And it can be something very simple to you that you just like, oh, everybody should know this. No, not everybody knows what goes on in your business or all of the details about what it is that you do. So answer those common questions for them through social media. 2 would be terminology, things that are relevant to you that you're like, oh, everybody knows this. Again, nobody knows that. Tell them about the terminology about things that are going on inside your business. 3, how-tos. Describe how you do something within your business. How is it that you help other people with what it is that you do in your business? 4 would be features and benefits. Yes, I took my medicine. 4 would be features and benefits. Talk about how your business solves a problem for your customers. And 5 is blog post. And I'll get into this one a little bit further. But just like websites, blog posts are a great way to give more detailed information about what it is that you do. So that is all of our educational type of content that you can be putting out there on social media. Next, we have positive. And with the world that we live in, how much can we use more positive stuff out there in the world with the way things are going right now, with the economy and with everyone, you know, everything's kind of negative lately. We need to put more positivity out in the world. So some of the things that I say with that is, number 1, inspirational sayings. You guys see these all across every platform. go make your Monday great, whatever it may be. You guys know what those are. Anything that makes somebody smile, basically. Number 2 would be a motivational quote. Any quotes from a famous individual who's had an impact on the world. Those are always great. 3, a lot of people don't think about this, but this is promoting your local charities in your area. Those local charities are always looking for people to help them, and any time that a business gets involved with them and helps them promote, because charities are always doing good work, right? That's always positive stuff. So you want to make sure that you're helping them as much as you can. If they've got a fundraiser going on, post about that fundraiser. And then number 4, promote about your city. What good things are going on in your city that you can help tell people about? Those are always great things that some of them not many people think about. So inspirational sayings, motivational quotes, promote local charities, and promote your city, the good things going on in your city. All right, and then last but not least, this is my favorite one, and this is engaging type content. These are the things that get people talking and interacting with your social media post. So I've got 4 things on this. First one is ask questions. You would be shocked at how many people want to answer questions about things. You can post something as simple as, hey, what's your favorite book? And you'll get 50 people commenting on it about what book they've read lately because it's something going on in their life. Number 2 is like a this or that. Do you like Android or do you like iPhones? You'll have 1,000 posts on that too, because everybody likes to post their opinion on that, what it is. So this or that are great ones. GIFs or GIFs, however you pronounce that, is a great way to grab attention. It's a great way to show personality and just get a little bit of entertainment out there as well. And GIFs are the little videos that show, I love them because they show personality. And then last but not least, you can always post a poll. It's another great way of asking questions. So ask questions, this or that, GIFs or GIFs, and polls are those. So let's go into a little bit of content repurposing. Okay, and the reason we want to repurpose content is it allows you to reach new audiences. Like she said before, when your post is only out there and it only lives for 30 minutes or an hour or so many days, you want to be able to reach new audiences the next time that you post it. And that's the whole reason we want to repurpose that. It's going to reinforce your message. It's going to continually drive viewers to your website. And most importantly, this is the one I can't speak on enough, is it frees up your time to do more important things. You need to be working on your business. You need to go out there making sales. You don't need to be spending all your time trying to create social media stuff. Do that one time. It's what Elizabeth's all about. Do that work one time, get it done, use it wisely, continuously by repurposing it.
I wanted to add one thing to your list real quick on there. Like you had the thing at the top about the reach new audiences. I think we forget that like the people that know us today and the stuff we post today, we're going to know new people later. And they're not going to know anything about this amazing post we spent all this time on. So I'm like so all about it. Yeah, like think about it that you're going to know new people later and they're not going to see all these amazing things you're writing.
That's exactly right. That's exactly why we want to keep using that, keep using it continuously. So the big question is how to repurpose that. Earlier, I talked about blog posts and how they're great because it's a great way to give more detailed information. So let's talk about blog posts and how you can actually share that. I'm going to actually show you how to share that without actually touching your social media, which is pretty incredible. So let's say you create a website, right? And you make a blog post. Most everybody uses WordPress to create websites. I don't know if Elizabeth is the same or not, but that's what we use. A lot of people use WordPress. And the minute that you use WordPress, it will automatically create an RSS feed. And I'm sure whatever you use, if it's not WordPress, probably is similar to that. And an RSS feed is just a really simple syndication, and it's just a detailed log of everything that you put out on your website. So anytime you create a blog post, most of the platforms will automatically give you an RSS feed, and again, just a list of everything that's going on your website, okay? So we put that blog post out there, and then you automatically get a RSS feed for it, okay? With Social Rotation, the platform that I'm all about, that I've helped create, what you're able to do is actually take that RSS feed, that URL from your RSS feed, pop that into Social Rotation one time, choose which platforms you want that to go out to, and then it will automatically, every time you post a blog post, it'll go to your RSS feed. Social Rotation will already pull that up, and then it will automatically post that out to your social media platforms without you actually having to go in and push buttons each and every time you create a blog post. To me, that's one of the most powerful things that I have within my arsenal within Social Rotation, because it makes it very, very simple. I use it myself for all of the stuff that we do within Social Rotation. It has saved myself hours and hours and hours. So that's one of the big things that we're able to do with blog posts is that. But I also want to show you how to do all the other things within social rotation, how to easily share the different types of content that we talked about, the educational, the motivational or the positive, and the engaging. So these are going to have a little bit of a videos on these, so I want to show these to you guys real quick. So within our platform, there's 4 or 5 things that you do when you first sign up. So the first thing that you do is you're going to upload your logo. Like Elizabeth said earlier, you're going to want to put your logo on your social media post, okay? So within social rotation, we actually have a system where you can actually go in there, choose whatever logo you have, pop it into that little square in the upper right hand corner. So everything that you post from that point forward is going to have your branding on it or your watermark on it. You're able to scale it and move it around and put that within the system. So everything that goes out from that point forward will always have your logo on it if you choose for it. You can choose it within the system, okay? And that's really important because you may have competitors in your market that like to share your content. Well, if they're going to do that, great, but they're going to share it with your logo on it so that you get credit for it, which is fantastic, okay? Next thing up is going to be connecting your social accounts. This part is super, super easy. You go in, you click on admin social networks, you click on which of your platforms you want to connect to. We've got Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Google My Business, and Instagram. So once you've connected your Facebook account, you choose which page you want this to go to. You say, do you want to post to Instagram? Yes or no? And you do that for each one of the platforms. You do it once, set it up, easy to go. Okay, so you see there, we've already got Facebook and Twitter signed up in there. Next, you choose your content. The one thing that we love about social rotation is we actually give you content. So depending on what type of niches that you're in, we have content with 70 some odd different niches. So we've got things for chiropractics, for dental, for real estate, contractors, florists, roofers, window cleaners, you name it, we've probably got content for you. And that can be that educational type content. So it's got a lot of FAQs, a lot of definitions, a lot of how-tos, things like that. So we have that all within the system. Plus we've got motivational and engaging and holidays and national days and things like that. So you can go into the system, choose which of those type of posts, what we call content buckets, that you can choose from. And then from there, what we're going to do is actually go in and create a schedule. So you choose what bucket of content you want. We go in, we create a rotation schedule. We say, okay, these are the platforms that I want it to post out to. Then you're going to say, okay, I want it to post this type of content. And that could be the dental, that could be engaging, that could be national days, whatever it may be. You choose what day of the week you want it to go out on, what time of the day. And then if you want that watermark in that upper right-hand corner. Okay, that's how you do all of that. And you can do that as many times as you want. You could do it for Facebook alone, or you can choose several different markets. I know Facebook and Twitter and Google My Business, they talked about posting a couple of different times during the day. And so that's why I chose those all together. Okay. And then last but not least, you can actually upload your own content. So just because we give you content does not mean that's what you have to use. If you have your own content, if you've got a team working together with you to create social content, you can do that. You can also use Jiffy. So if you like to put GIFs in there or GIFs in there, you can choose your own GIFs, put in a caption, put in a comment. You can post it at that moment, or you can schedule it for later. Again, I love GIFs and GIFs. I think it just adds personality. You see here, I put this in there. So excited to see patients today. The other thing that we have available is if you've ever used Canva, I am a Canva junkie. You can actually connect your Canva account, create designs within Canva, customize them to your own liking, and then post those within the platform as well. So it makes it really simple. This one's just kind of showing you a customer testimonial right in there. So you just put that in there, pop that into social rotation, schedule it for later, and go from there. And so once you've done that, all of your content is done, because once that content goes to the end of that bucket, it's actually going to repurpose that content and go back to the beginning and post those again, depending on what your schedule that you put together. So you'll see we've got content for the next week. This is everything that's going out. And if I click on that, you can see my logo in that upper right-hand corner. So that is how social rotation makes it really easy to get content out on our social platforms, how to repurpose it, how to get your blog post out there. On our comments inside of social rotation, you can put links to your website, you can put all your hashtags, all that good stuff. So, and if you guys would want to try social rotation, we do give you a 21-day trial for just $1 that I'm going to be popping the link in here, if I can get it to paste.
And then
so
when we send out
all.
the video, we'll send out this link again. And we'll also send out the link to the toolkit and the video. So you'll have all 3 of those pieces to give you the whole thing for this whole seminar all together.
Yes, thank you. Well, that's everything for me. So Elizabeth, I will let you take it over again. So hopefully you guys found something useful out of that.
That was awesome. I was so excited. I was writing things down. I was like, oh yeah, I should do that. Oh yeah, I forgot.
You over there, make it a little...
All right, so let's see here. Let me pop in here to show my screen again. And you mentioned blogging, which I was so excited about in the RSS feed. You can actually do the same thing with podcasting. So if you have a podcast, you get that RSS feed, you can pop that in there too, and it will push out. I do that with mine all the time, with the blogs, the podcasts. If I can get an RSS feed for anything, I'm like, shove it in there, just let it run. All right, so since she did mention blogging, I am going to go into that really quickly and give you guys a couple of things about, maybe now you're like, okay, that would be great to have all these blog posts and social posts running at the same time. How can we do that? That's part of this recession proofing, like all of your marketing. So now we've got the social media running and we know that we can get some blogs in there, but we don't have any blog content. This is literally it. This is literally all you have to do to make a blog post. And if you have what she mentioned before, what Tabitha mentioned before about your FAQs, great blog post, great social posts. You can even do both, right? You can just have one FAQ, write a social post about it, and also write a blog post about it. Because the social post is going to be this much, right? Like a few sentences. The blog post is going to be 2 paragraphs about it. So it doesn't matter if you repeat that content. Obviously, multiple people are asking this question. So obviously, it's going to be relevant content. Someone just put in our questions. Oh, Jennifer said it looked really useful. So thank you, Tabitha. Awesome. Got some people saying, yes, I'm ready to sign up. So yeah, if you're going to write these blog posts, you don't have to worry about trying to create completely new content from even your social posts. Sometimes you write like a social post and you're like, man, that was so good. And just because you're going to reuse it again doesn't mean you can't also take it and then expand upon it, because you might have just given a little snippet of what you were really meaning to say, or what the expanded version of that would be, and really explain it really well or give more detail. So definitely go in and look at your social posts, look at what really performed well or what people were asking questions about, those FAQs again. Really anything, the how-to, the terminology, like all the stuff that she mentioned for social posts, great blog posts as well. So don't reinvent the wheel, just use what you have and just make it more, like expand on it, right? And for the blog post, you just need a title, some text, which we just talked about. You can start with your blog post text as a starting point. Your social text as a starting point, and then call to action, which every blog post should have, everyone. So you want to just make sure that when someone reads something really great, whether it's a how-to, whether it's terminology, whether it's your FAQ, that now that they've read this and they're kind of intrigued, they're interested, they're maybe more educated on that topic, now what do they do with that information, right? Guess what? This all goes back to your one thing that your website should be doing. It should be kind of funneling people to that one topic, that one thing that says, yep, this is your one task for today. When you read this information, when you go through this page, when you read this blog post, it's the only thing you have to do. Book a call with me, go to this page and buy this product, whatever that is. Go and get this free download, whatever that one thing is. And then a photograph or a graphic. Tabitha mentioned Canva. Can't love Canva enough. Really, it's so easy to use, and if it's free, that's the best part. It's the initial sessions are, their software is free to download, and it's very easy. They have so many templates. Just use a template. Don't try and but I have to have a graphic designer. No, you don't have to have a graphic designer. Just use a template, and it'll look great. Put your own picture in there. Use a stock photo even, but make it your colors. You have your brand. You know what your colors are. Don't use the peach if peach isn't your color. Use blue or green or whatever it is that's your color. So just make sure that it's your colors, but that's the only thing you have to do to be a designer, is make sure you keep your colors straight, right? That's what that brand is going to inform. Remember I said we do these in order? We did the brand, got all those colors, got that logo correct. We got the square version, we got the rectangle version. Then when we do the website, we use the same colors, we use the same fonts. Then when we do the social posts, we got our logo on there. We're using the same colors and fonts there too. Then we're going to do blog posts. images for that. Again, same colors, same image, similar images that look like that same brand. If you think back to anything you've ever seen where you've thought, oh my gosh, they're so put together, they've got all their stuff, everything, like if you look at my stuff, it's all green, right? I'm wearing green today. It looks so put together. You know why? Because we just pay attention to the coloring and we're consistent, right? So just be consistent and don't worry about like, oh, it's greenish. No, it has to be the green, right? That'll just make you look so polished, and it's such a simple thing to do. And then of course the date and time to post it. That's really easy as well. Pick a cadence, pick a cadence and go with it. It could be once a month, it could be twice a month, it could be every week if you wanted, but don't do it just because you think you have to. Do it if it fits what you know you can physically accomplish. If you can't write 20 blog posts, don't post every week, right? If you can write 10, you've almost got a whole year done if you did it once a month. So just give yourself some grace there, but also look at it and be realistic with yourself. Like, I can do one a month. Perfect. Don't do any more than that if you don't feel like it or you can't accomplish it in the time frame. If you think you can do 2 a month, do 2 a month, but there's no hard and fast rule about this. It's only going to help your SEO that you have something. Like she said, something that's alive is better than something that's perfect. But just find a cadence and try and stick with it as much as you can. And that's why creating as much content up front as possible helps you stick with those cadences, because then you don't have to go back and go, oh, I forgot all about it. So pick a cadence and stick with it, and this is as easy as blogging gets. I mean, seriously. And then social rotation will do everything else for you. Anything with an RSS feed will do everything else for you. All right, let's go to the next one, which is email marketing. This is almost as simple, by the way, so we're going to get to that, but I wanted to show you a few facts about email marketing. 55% of people check their email before they start work at 9 a.m. Isn't that crazy? And then if you look at these engagement numbers, sad to say, if you're not repurposing content, this is what you're going to get, because repurposing content really helps. But the 0.58 is social media engagement. If you're not doing it right, this is not going to help you. And then email marketing is like way more than that. So if you're doing both of these, you're covering all your bases. But if you're not doing email marketing and you're only focusing on just one thing, like, oh, I just focus on my website, why am I not getting any customers? Or just focusing on social, why am I not getting any customers? You got to email too. I bet that you probably heard about this webinar from an email, right? So definitely see how much email is impacting things. And if you're not using it, see how much you're missing. Like, you're missing out so many things. And that's why if we start this now, we're not going to be stuck when everybody else is sitting there going, where's all my clients? We're in a recession. We're going to be ahead of the game. We're going to have emails going out. We're going to have our blog posts going out, email. A lot of email programs, you can take that RSS feed from your blog post, shove it into one of these email programs, and it'll do the same thing like social rotation does. Every time it pops in on your website, there it goes. Little social post going out, little email going out, and you didn't have to do anything except put the blog post in one time. I'm all about doing things once. You don't need to do them twice. Jennifer asked, can we utilize older posts without creating a new post? And I guess she's talking about blogging, which we were just speaking of a few minutes ago. You can. I recommend updating the post and then changing the date, right? So change the text a little, update it. You might be a little crusty. You might need to brush off the dust, and then redate it. Don't change the link. Don't change, because you're getting SEO from that, and people might have even tagged it or like bookmarked it or something. So don't change the link on it, but just at least redate it. So maybe it comes back from 2 years ago, you've edited it up, and now it's going out next week or something. Don't do that too often. Don't just have like 5 posts you keep rotating. That wouldn't be great, but you want to still add new content as well. But I would dust off maybe like a year or 2 old, blog posts that you have and just redate them. But make sure you're updating them, because sometimes the content does change and then it just looks like you're just reposting old stuff. So make sure you've at least updated some things and given it a little fresh look. Or even just put in there, sometimes I'll just put like an update like paragraph and say, oh, I reread this today and I realized this is such great content. I also wanted to add this note, and then here's the blog post. So hopefully that helps. So then when you've got your email marketing going, there are just a few things you need to create an email. So if you've got your RSS feed from your blogs, it kind of does everything for you. You don't have to worry about it. But if you need to create a new email, like let's say you're doing a webinar with your friend Tabitha and you're just so excited about it, you need to share it to your whole list, then you need a few items, right? You need your subject line. You can put your pre-header in, which also shows in that, like, what's that thing, like a teaser kind of for every email that you get. There's like a teaser. That's what the pre-header is. Then you have your body text, which is, hey, this is what we're doing. This is when we're doing it. Here's how you sign up. And then you have your photo or graphic. I made a graphic for us that has like our pictures on it, and you guys saw that when you got the email. And then also there's a button. Let me tell you something about buttons. Excuse me. Buttons are amazing, and you just have to learn how to do them right. Okay, so let me tell you the secret. Secret about buttons is you always, when you're doing a session like this, specifically like a register type of session or a sign up, right? You always put 2 buttons. Always 2 buttons. And one of them says learn more, and one of them says register now. The secret is they both go to the same link. Because a lot of people, they just need to go to the one link. There isn't really any more to tell, right? So most people, though, there's like 2 camps. There's the people who are like, yeah, let's do it. I'm ready. Like, yes, sign me up, and they have no fear of that button. They know that when they click it, it's going to ask them a bunch of questions. And if they still kind of are like, I don't know, then they can undecide, right? Then there's that other sector of people who go, oh my gosh, if I click that button, you're going to charge my card and it's going to be over and I'm going to be in. I don't know if I want to be in. And so they need that learn more button as like a stepping stone to the checkout, right? Which is usually a free thing or something, but they need that checkout. Like they need that little stepping stone. So I always give them that stepping stone, but it's the same link, guys. It's the same link. There aren't any more information they would need to know. So then you want to put your footer in there. If you can put your address, like if you have a business address, it actually will help you with deliverability. So make sure you put your physical address in there that's not your home, but like a business or like a P.O. box type of situation. And then a date and time to post your email. So very, very simple stuff. Doesn't have to be complicated. Remember, simplicity is the key. So if you are not doing email marketing and you're not sharing about things that you're doing, speaking engagements you're doing, things like that, even little webinars, even podcasts, whatever. If you're going to be somewhere live or you're going to do something where people can participate, you should be sharing that. And even if you have blog posts or podcasts that have come out, you should be sharing those. But let the system do the work. Don't let it automate. Don't do all of it like manually. That's too much work for anybody. So lastly, we're going to talk about podcasting. And there are 4.2 million podcasts out there and growing. There's always more shows. And there's a couple of things you can do. You can be a host or you can be a guest, and we're going to talk about both of those. But before you decide to be a host or a guest, you should know that people listen to an average of 8 shows a day. Isn't that insane? Isn't it? It's crazy. So I listen to quite a few. I don't know if I listen to quite 8, but that's the average. So there's people that are listening to more than 8 shows a day. Like that's like their daily routine. So anyway, I don't know. It's a little nuts to me, but I do kind of get it. Like sometimes I'll just be like on a roll and want to listen to more, right? So there is the art of being a guest, and I do talk about hosting and stuff like that. There's a whole can of worms we could open on that, but I'm just going to talk about being a guest today because it's one of the best things you can do to help your marketing, especially if you're not allowed to go anywhere. So in 2020, I was networking a lot in person, and then all that just like I was cut off. I felt like my arm had been removed. Like it was just part of my whole world, and it was how my business was growing, and it was how I was actually connecting with people on a regular basis and getting new clients. So when that was all cut off, I was like, how do I fix this? How do I replace one-to-one networking and one-to-many networking? Well, duh, I could be on a podcast, and that's how I met Tabitha, actually. So I want to show you one of the things that I did. I created a one sheet. And if you go to my website, getabsolutemarketing.com, and you /press kit, you'll actually see my whole one sheet that I send out to people. It's not a page that's out there, but you can kind of see it if you go to the press kit page. And I have all this information there. And when I started with Tabitha and we did the podcast together, I think I already had this out. And I just sent her all of it. And she was just like, oh my gosh, it's like, it's all here. I don't have to like hound you with 20 emails like, where's your bio? Where's your headshot? Which as a podcaster, she knows like that's what you have to do with people. They don't have all this stuff together. But the fact that I had all of it like right in front of everything. I was just like, here's my pitch, here's who I am, here's what I talk about, and here's all the information you need. And she was like, oh, well, of course you're in.
Can I just say that
Yeah.
right there made me book you like right off the bat because I didn't have to work for it. It was just there. I'm like, you're going to be on. I don't have to work for it. Here we go. You're my guest.
Yep. And that was what was so cool. And so I want people to have that same kind of experience. Not only the podcaster, you, right, Tabitha, like you were like, oh, all my work is done, right? But also the podcastee, the one who's being interviewed, it's so much easier for you to show up in like a really professional and confident way that again, it was a no-brainer for her. She's like, yeah, of course. You're the guest. I don't even whatever you want to talk about. You want to talk about cats? Great. We're going to talk about cats. Like but like it was made it so easy for her. So if you want to make it easy for people to book you as a guest, because this is a huge thing that has helped my business. I actually was on one podcast and I made like 20 grand from just one podcast. And it was their first show. So it was crazy. And that was not something that happens all the time, obviously, but it does lend to your credibility. It gives you so much good content and it does help you with your SEO as well. So, name, oh, let me go back. Hold on. Skipping. Okay. Go back. There we go. Name, bio, a short and a long, headshot. I like to put in a couple. People like to see my personality. They can pick what they like. Expert topics, what I like to speak on. Fun facts. I just threw that in there because I have all these fun facts about myself. The logo, they need your logo. Go figure, because they're going to put it on all that marketing material. Your website link. I know they're on your website, but I like to put a link they can just right click and copy paste. And then social links, again, right click, copy paste. You don't want to have to type it in every single time. And then freebie and opt in links. Again, I know they're on your website. Just let them right click and copy paste. It makes it so much easier. So this is a great thing you can put together. I actually put this on my website, as I mentioned. It's getabsolutemarketing.com/press kit. And I put it on the website so that I can just change it anytime I want, and I can just send the podcaster a link and it's done. So that's what that's all we have to talk about today. My computer is dying a very quick death. I did not bring my cord in here. But if you have any other questions about this, please let me or Tabitha know. We're going to be sending out an email, which you can reply to, and either one of us will get it. We'll kind of coordinate all that. But we're going to send out the video recording, the link to the 21-day dollar trial, which I think is an amazing deal. Just at least give it a try. Good grief. And then, you're going to be hooked. And then we're also going to send out a link to the Pro Toolkit, which is free. So keep an eye on your emails for that. And that's all we have for today. Tabitha, do you have anything else you want to add? I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen real quick.
No, just everybody have a wonderful day.
Yes, and thank you so much for being here. And again, if you have other questions, reply to the email we send out and we'll get back with you and hopefully we can help you out with what you're looking for. All right. Thank you guys so much. We'll talk to you soon.
Bye.